Okay. So we went through all of this stuff, and it was great, and it was fun, and it was wonderful. As Dr. Holmes said, a lot of people who are attracted to us would rather be entertained than healed. Now, the healing happens when we know that we are what everyone say. It's probably one of the first things you heard when you found religious science. Everyone say, what I'm searching for, I'm searching with. Now, how many have stopped to think about the implication of that? And the power of what you just said. What I'm searching for, I'm searching with. There is nothing outside of you greater than you are, and there's no one who's ever lived that has more power than you have. That you are the power. Jesus asked the question 2,000 years ago. He said, don't you know you're God's? Don't you know that the entire universe is ready to back up your next idea? And if that is true, should you not get the nonsense out of the way and let the next idea be pure and beautiful and wonderful and joyous and a celebration of your life and everyone else's life? And if you exclude anyone, you're excluding yourself. Okay, see how simple that is? Oh, I'd rather have the ceremony and the ritual and the when Dr. Holmes let this become a religion, he was sitting down with Cecil B. DeMille, the great movie director and the head of USC, and the governor of California, Goodwin Knight, and his wife, who was a practitioner with Ernest Holmes, and all of these wonderful people around Ernest, and they said, Dr. Holmes, you need to let this become a church. You need to organize this. And he was resisting it, and he said, give me a good reason. And they said, if you don't do it, it's going to become a bunch of dusty books on somebody's bookshelf 100 years from now. Organize it to save it. He said, okay, I'll do this, but under one condition: no dogmas, no creeds, no ceremonies, no rituals. We don't save anybody from anything except what? Their own nonsense. We're not here to convert, we're not here to do anything, and we don't look down our nose at anybody. Because we know that everybody in whatever religion they're in are in the exact same place they need to be in. So our celebration is to be the best we know how to be without making anything less than the best in order to do it. Simplicity. Get rid of the Nincompoopery. Get rid of the nonsense. Everyone say the first paragraph with me in the handout. God within me as me now celebrates the task at hand. The unwavering intelligence that made me out of itself knows what to do and how to do it, accomplishing everything I allow as my experience. I take up the task before me with a singleness of purpose and the power of love. Okay, what is your purpose? You know that people who get upset with the world or people, places, things around the world, how many know that what they really want to be is upset? How many have done there? I want to be upset, so the first thing that's happened, there's my reason. There's my reason. There's my reason. I told you the story a while back of the guy who comes over and says, give me a beer before it starts. The wife brings him beer, says, give me another beer before it starts. And so she brings me another beer before it starts. She says, all you're doing is sitting here drinking beer. Blah, 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 blah. He said, it started. Okay. This is St. Patrick's Day. I was laughing with Cynthia. She said, how did St. Patrick get all the snakes out of Ireland? And I pointed out that he probably had a Jack Russell Terrier, which I have, and we have. Who goes after everything. Jay didn't believe me. One day he's out in the backyard, had something cornered, and I looked out there, and there was a 5-foot diamondback out in our backyard, and Kai's sitting there. Anyhow, but he was smart enough not to get too close to it. Anyhow. And we gave it to the people to come pick it up, and they released it up in the mountains, and that's good, so he can go experience it rattlesnakeness somewhere else other than my backyard. Now, the challenge we have is to know that if you have nonsense in your world, you can run it off, as St. Patrick ran off the snakes. You can run it off, you can get rid of it, you can get it out of your experience. And the only thing you have to do is allow yourself to celebrate the fact that positive change is good enough to be true if you choose to be the positive change in you as you before it ever shows up in your world. To allow yourself to be the change that you're looking for, to be the attitude, the consciousness that you're looking for. Everyone say, I don't treat for things, I treat to become the consciousness of the thing. If you become the consciousness, the thing will show up in better. If you become the consciousness of health, the consciousness of happiness, the consciousness of prosperity. And if you don't know how to do that, you can learn. As Dr. Holmes said, there's a lot of people who do what we teach in religious science naturally. For those of us who don't know how, we can learn. Going back to 1961, when I got that record of Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret. Remember Earl Nightingale's voice? Yes, I worked on developing that all these years. So anyhow, but he had this great radio voice. Good. Anyhow, and he talked about what? The strangest secret is what? Everybody say, what I think becomes my life. If it's in my life, I thought it up. If I don't like it, I can unthink it and think something else. See, think new. You can't think new, though, unless you have a new definition of the thinker. That's you. Because you see, you cannot think beyond your self-definition. If you have an attitude about life that is less than beautiful, then less than beautiful is going to be part of your life. And if you don't like it in your life, then get rid of it in your consciousness. And stop giving it to law to show up. You don't need an enemy. You don't need someone to fight with all the time. You don't need someone to find a reason to be unhappy every day. Why not find a reason to be happy? Why not find a reason to look for the best and honor the best within yourself? Here at the Center of Spiritual Living in Fremont, we recognize the truth of ourselves, and to all of you here, you must know that we are recognized internationally as one of the finest and foremost metaphysical centers in the world. And it's because of our teaching here, and it's because of what we have allowed ourselves to stand for. It's because of the wonderful ministers we have. It's, how many know that Reverend Lacey is known all over this planet? Okay, and celebrated all over this planet. That Reverend Dar is honored. That Reverend Cynthia is being not only the wonderful teacher she is, but also the editor of the Creative That magazine, is known all over this world. Okay. How many know that when I'm asked to speak in another city, it's standing room only? It's very interesting. Somebody said, why don't we have a full house here every week? And I said, well, you take it, when you're here for 35 years, people take it for granted. Oh, well, they'll be here next week, so we can catch it then. Anyhow, every morning for the past 34 years, I've had something important to share, important to teach.